Oh! Oh, there you go, right there, perfect. There you go. Look at that. If you want to make the night stage or the night show, you got to have beautifully developed deltoids, and that's what we're going to do today.
Prove that man get ready to fly.
We started off with the dumbbell presses, so we're going. Daniel's going. He goes 4 bottom range of motion reps. He goes 4 top range of motion reps, then 8 full range of motion reps with a traditional dumbbell press. So with the number, we're sort of 4 halves equals 4 holes plus 8. You got 12 reps there. So ideally, you're going to start with close to your 12 rep max. So we're going to do these. We're going to do as many. We're going to do that for 4, 4, 4, 8, so 12. Then after that, what we did is we dropped. You want to drop, in his case, 5 to 10 pounds per set per dumbbell. Rest 45 seconds. He does 4 bottom, 4 top, then as many regular presses as he can. We did that for 4 total sets. Okay, dropping each set 5 to 10 pounds, resting 45 seconds. This is an approach that Boyer Coe, legendary old school bodybuilder, used to do. It's sort of like drop sets, descending steps, and we sort of but a little longer break so you can actually recover a little more and still handle some heavy pig iron. We've talked about these before, and I can't, almost like a broken record, but I truly believe this is one of the most underutilized effective bodybuilding techniques. So ideally, we need to kind of talk about this because he hadn't done this exercise before, is on the top half and the full range of motion reps, you're not quite locking them out. So what that does is by not locking out completely the top, you something, say like about a ½ inch or whatever. Obviously, bodybuilders know it's keeping tension on the shoulders, which is what we're after. But the partial reps also cause very quickly a hypoxic state or a lack of oxygen, and that rapidly builds up the lactate. So it's sort of like almost like why that technique sort of worked. It's almost like occlusion training. We've done occlusion training before. That's the same thing of when bodybuilders have that constant tension on the muscle, and why it's proven to work. We could do it. We may have to. You guys pressure me, and we have to do a series sometimes on just discussing the Weider principles and a lot of the scientific validity that's come through them. But this is sort of like a heavy occlusion training in a sense when you don't quite do that. And some of this was really heavy, so it did slipped up a little bit here and there. But obviously, he got a hell of a pump, so we did something right. Okay. Next, we did call them the Sir Charles lateral raises. Got these from Charles Poliquin years ago, and when I was deciding what to do for this workout, I was kind of looking at stuff online because we're trying to introduce some new techniques and stuff. And I used to use these a lot with people, and I haven't been using them as much lately. But I need to start using more with more bodybuilding clients again because we got great results with them. So anybody can just sit there and heave up a lateral raise, and like we were talking about earlier or later, I don't know if we even filmed this, but the limbo, I call it the limbo, the lateral raise. So you got people like Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson using 120 pounds, they're swinging them up. That's so much weight, even if it's a lot of momentum. Obviously, under all that tension, something's happening because these men have massive delts. So clearly something's working. Then you have people that do them, we did the opposite. So this is all, the middle of your shoulder working, the lateral head of your shoulders working there is because, so obviously we have people like Branch Warren, Johnny Jackson, 120 pounds, using a lot of momentum to cheat the weight up, but they obviously have amazing lateral deltoid development. So that works, obviously. So then, then we have people that do them ultra strict, and that's what we're trying to do here is no momentum and really isolate it. So I got this exercise, I said it from Charles Poliquin, and I think a lot of people spend too much time in limbo in between those two places where they kind of, use like 30-pound dumbbells, but it's all momentum to get it up, so they're really not getting anything out of it. You either, if you're going to cheat it up, you need to go way beyond failure and only use momentum to overcome the sticking point and do them ultra strict like this. So anyways, that's what we're doing here. As you see, he's going to bend his arm to 90 degrees, and then he's going to abduct his shoulder till his elbow's about 3/4, ½ inch above parallel to the ground. Then he's going to extend his arms so about 95% of full extension. Then he's going to lower these down for a 3-second negative. So what the further benefit besides keeping this really strict is it's obviously easier to, the dumbbell's closer to you, when you're right here versus you're straight out. So the beauty of this is concentrically, or the way up, you're weaker, so he does the easier way, but then eccentrically you're a lot stronger, so when he extends his arm is out, eccentrically he's lowering it, so he's actually overloading these, not only overloading the eccentric by the 3-second negative, by also making it a harder movement because his arms are straight instead of in close. Think about it, if grab a 25-pound plate this close, then slowly extend it out, it's going to feel heavier. So then we went into the crucifix hold. So we keep his, he's keeping his palms down there, and what that, palms down, there, going to the floor. What that does is, where I got that from is, obviously World's Strongest Man does the competition, but what really kind of, first off, isometrically, hardly anybody does anything, and I realize that isometric contractions aren't the end all for muscle hypertrophy, but there have been some studies that showed just bodybuilding posing alone can actually add a little bit of muscle. So imagine if we load it up right here. So and also I see incredible development in gymnasts. Okay, like people that do gymnastics have great deltoid development. They do those iron crosses and things like that. So obviously, if Daniel doesn't have that sort of background, it would be pretty haphazard to say, hey, let's get up and do an iron cross. But we can do something similar with the dumbbells here. So what you're going to do there is just hold them out anywhere for 30 to 60 seconds. And hold it out isometrically. And, I would say on this one, it's not as strict of an isolation movement in the sense of, like on the previous movement, if there was 1 ounce of failure, in the technical execution of the movement, we aborted at that point. This one is not like that. If you can, I would say, make this one hurt. So if it gets out in front of you, gets a little more anterior deltoid, starts to go down, whatever, you want to keep them parallel to the floor. But if it gets a little shaky, don't worry about it. Just keep on trucking and just make it hurt, and you will get something out of it. Then we went on the next was a partial rear delt raise, partial rear delt fly. So we got this one from John Meadows, uses it a lot, and I got it from him, and I really like it. And so what he's doing here is we were going until so initially it's almost one of those things where when he goes heavier, his form was getting more consistent and better because he has to use momentum. So this is something only an advanced lifter would use that's in tune with their body. So he's gonna just do those 6 to 8 inch pulses right there and really concentrate on working the rear delt, sort of that intrinsic kind of focus motivation right there, versus like like doing, like if you tell an athlete, you don't say like contract your glutes before you jump or whatever you're going to do. You'd say push the ground away from you as you jump. But with bodybuilders, you can actually talk in terms of that mind-muscle connection, because if they're any good, they have it. And obviously Daniel does. Okay, so what we did there, go as many reps as he could until it kind of broke down in like that 25 to 30-ish range. We did that for 45-second breaks. Did that for 4 sets using the old school Boyer-Co method. Then finally, we just did... we did a rear delt fly with a band right there, and he just stopped it about right here, so he doesn't really start using all those rhomboids, upper back muscles. You had to get onto him a little bit. He's trying to get his trap too much involved. Just kind of relaxed it right there, and boom, hit the rear delt. And he said he really felt the burning. So like I understand that like feels not going to be everything for everybody, but someone it's an advanced bodybuilder like Daniel, we definitely need that sort of kinesthetic awareness or mind-muscle connection.